Chapter 13, Fabula Tristis, English and Latin. Latin and English. Cupido, dum Psyche sola sub arbore dormit, accedit. Cupid, while Psyche is sleeps alone under a tree, approaches. Dum dormit puella, Cupido eam tolit veitque per auras. While the girl sleeps, Cupid lifts her and carries her through the air. Psyche, ubi evidigat, attonita est quod voces audit, sed neminam videt. Psyche, when she awakes, is astonished because she hears voices but she sees no one. And a typo alert if your cartoon caption says quod voces portat audit, cross out the portat, it does not belong there. At pictura quarta. Psyche, quae vultum mariti videre valde cupit, lucernam parat. Psyche, who truly desires to see the face of her husband, lights a lamp. And make sure you see the case of the nouns here. She desires to see the face of her husband. Okay. Fabula Tristis. Horatia et Scintilla sub arbore quiescunt. Horatia and Scintilla are resting under a tree. Horatia matri dicit. Horatia says to her mother, dative, dum quiescimus mater narrami fabulam, while we are resting, mother, tell to me a story. Dum quiescimus mater narramihi fabulam. Scintilla filiae respondet. Scintilla responds to her dative case, to her daughter. Qualem fabulam audire cupis, cara filia? What sort of story do you wish to hear, dear daughter? Horatia narrami inquit fabulam dulcem mater. Scintilla audi filia inquit. Narrabo tibi fabulam dulcem, sed tristem. Scintilla says, listen, daughter, I shall tell to you a sweet story, but sad. Multis abincanis in terra longinqua rex et regina habitant, qui tres filias habent. Many years ago, in a land far away, a king and queen lived a king and queen who had 3 daughters. Omnes filiae pulchrae sunt, sed natu minima, Psyche nomine, multo pulcherrima est. All of the daughters are beautiful, but the youngest, literally the youngest by birth, named Psyche, was the most pretty by far, or the most beautiful by far. Omnes viri, omnesque feminae eam laudant, et quasi deam colunt. All men and all women praise her and worship her as a god. Tandem dea Venus irata est. At length, the goddess Venus was angry. Invidet puelle, quod pulchrast. Invidet, quod omnes eam quasi deam colunt. She envies the girl. Envy takes a dative. She envies the girl because she's beautiful. She envies because everyone worships her as a god. Cupidinem arcesit, et tu, care fili, inquit amorem in pectoribus humanis excitare potes. She summons Cupid, and she says, "You dear son," and notice the vocative, the case of calling out to somebody, "You dear son," are able to excite love in human hearts. Tu, care fili, inquit amorem in pectoribus humanis excitare potes. Inunc puellam pulchram quaere psychen nomine. Go now, look for a beautiful girl by the name of Psyche, sagittam emite, et cogeam amare hominem aliquem miserum et informem. Send out your arrow and force her, and there's the command form, force her to love some person miserable and deformed, or ugly for informem. Cupido matris imperia perficere parat. Cupid prepares to carry out the orders of his mother. Arcum capit et sagittas, arcum capit et sagittas, et a terras volat. He grabs his arrow, his bow, and his arrows, and he flies to the land, or to earth maybe. Mox psychen invenit, soon he finds Psyche, quae sola sub arbore sedet, who is sitting alone under a tree. Tristis est, she said, nam omnes eam laudant, because everybody praises her. Omnes colunt, everybody worships her. Sed nemo amat, nobody loves her. Nemo in matrimonium ducit, nobody leads her into marriage. Cupido diu formam illam mirandam spectat. Cupid, for a long time, looks at her miraculous beauty. Iam dormit psyche accedit. Now Psyche is sleeping. I'm sorry, there was a period. Now Psyche is sleeping. Accedit Cupido et eam proprio spectat. Cupid approaches and looks at her more closely. Statim amore flagrat. Immediately he burns with love, an ablative. Dum dormit puella, while the girl sleeps, tolit eam et per auras veit. He picks her up and carries her, I guess, through the air. Ad domum dīvīnam, to his divine home. Ibi eam leniter in lecto dēponit. There he places her gently onto his bed. Mox vigilat psyche et surgit. Soon Psyche wakes up and rises. Omnia spectat, she looks at everything. Voces audit, sed neminem videt. She hears voices, but she sees nobody. Voces dicunt, the voices say. Oh, by the way, voces here is accusative. She hears voices. You can tell that because the verb is singular. She hears voices. Here, the voices is nominative because it's the subject. The voices say, Omnia quae vides, domina, maritus tuus tibidat. everything which you see, or that you see, I guess is better English, mistress, your husband gives to you, dative case, omnia quae vides, domina, maritus tuus tibi dat. Everything that you see, mistress, your husband gives to you. Nos tibi famulae sumus, we are your servants. Nos tibi famulae sumus. That's a dative, but rather than saying we are servants to you, it's probably better if we say we are your servants. Intra cena, enter and dine. Psyche valde attonita est, sed cenaculum intrat et cenam videt paratum. Psyche is astonished, truly astonished, but she enters the dining room and she sees a dinner prepared. Laeta cenat, she dines happily. Deinde dormit, then she sleeps. Dum dormit sonum audit, she hears a sound. Ēvigilat, she awakens. Territ est, she's terrified. Maritus ignotus ad est, her unknown husband is there. Lectum ascendit et psychem amplexut tenet, he climbs the bed and holds Psyche in an embrace. And that's ablative. Sedante solis ortum discedit, but before the rise of the sun, he departs. Psyche ubi ēvigilat sol est, Psyche, when she awakes, is alone. Mariti nullum vestigium videt, she sees no trace of her husband, genitive of her husband. Mariti nullum vestigium videt. Voce sole adsunt, the voices alone are there, quae eam currant, which take care of her. Okay, and when you're done writing your translation, be sure to listen to the Latin-only version and make sure you note the view count.